Hey, long time no see. It's your girl ReeXG back with another video. I have been trying to upload for months, not just here, but on my other two channels on YouTube. I have received a lot of backlash from YouTube. And I don't know if it's because they don't like the content that I'm trying to, put on my channel, or maybe something's going wrong with the actual app. I'm not really sure. I tried speaking to two other creators that I know that I'm very close to, and they said that they're having the same issues too, but I'm not going to let that keep me from posting. I wanted to talk about the limitations that comes with being a parent. And if you guys have been on TikTok or Instagram, there's a trend going around with a very popular song, and in part of the song he says 21 with no kids, right? I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about if you've been active on those two apps. And it's getting a lot of backlash. A lot of regretful parents and hateful baby mothers and unhappy baby fathers are coming out and exposing themselves, but also trying to tarnish the child-free people's name, right? They're trying to call the community selfish, bitter, evil, disheartening, all types of mean things, the usual things that we're called because of our choice. I wanted to talk about that because it's getting out of hand. Like I've already experienced this firsthand outside of TikTok and Instagram, but remember how I told you guys a long time ago that I was being threatened? I was being followed home. I had people sending death threats through my email, right? Which is why I don't get my email out as much anymore. Or they would comment in my YouTube videos that they're going to find me and kill me. Or they say all types of bitter things about my parents, about my siblings, right? Because they're parents. They say awful things towards my future as if they know me. They were just being very gross and disheartening simply because I talk about freedom, right? Because I'm not married, nor do I have kids. And that's just an issue for people that only saw that as an outlet for themselves. So when you don't follow that path, they're going to have something to say, but it's never going to be good. And if it is good, it's very rarely. I've rarely come across people that are parents that aren't disheartening like that. And it just comes to show that a lot of people are unhappy about the choice that they decided to make. I've never been a half-asser. I've never been someone that's fine with limiting my time, my space, my effort, or just anything that comes with me giving myself to someone, something, or someplace, right? And what I'm seeing with parents, and they can't help it because it just comes with the job, right? It comes with the responsibility. It takes up everything. But what I've noticed is they don't usually have, the proper amount of time with, their partners. They don't have proper time for their other kids, right? If they have multiple. They don't have time for their parents, their grandparents, if they're still around. They don't have time for their friends. They don't have time for hobbies. Hell, they don't even have time for themselves. And I'm not okay with that. I feel like when you're a parent, because everything circulates around this child, you're having to break off pieces of yourself. So when you hang out with your friends, you're not really there. And I've seen that with most friendships, because they'll check on the friend and you don't hear anything about the friend. It's just everything's about the child. Or both of them are only talking about their kids. They're not talking about themselves. They're not updating each other on life. They're just talking about their kids the whole time. And it just sounds empty, right? There's been, complaints from people, wanting to get divorced and circulating their child because they feel like they lost their partner, or they feel like they don't recognize the person that they married once kids come into the picture, right? Or there's been many times where, grandparents are like, I want my son or I want my daughter back. Like, I love seeing them be a parent, but they're still my child. So I want them to be active in my life, just like I want my grandkids to be active in my life. Or if they have pets, they're kind of put on the back burner, right? And for obvious reasons, your child's more important than your fur child, right? If you had to choose, obviously most people would choose their human child, right? Just their child. Because for most people, pets aren't just pets. They're part of the family, right? Or if you have a passion, let's just say you started taking up classes to paint. It's going good, you got a babysitter, all that's well. And eventually you have to stop the classes because, you know, there's something going on at your kid's school, or your child's being bullied, or finances aren't really, you know, meeting up to par. So you can't really keep taking money out for these classes, so you eventually have to stop. You know, and at some point you were giving it your all, and eventually you started giving less and less and less, and now you just can't do the classes anymore. But this is something you were very passionate about. This is something that you've been doing way before you even had kids, right? Now, I'm not saying the kids are a burden. I'm just saying, in a sense, they're kind of a setback. They cause you to limit yourself. And most people say, well, no, my child drives me to, you know, to give it my all. How can you give it your all when you're there for the child 98% of the time? How? If you want to give your all to your partner, how can you do that when 98% of that effort and time and space and emotional stability is going towards the child? I'm not just talking about intimacy. A lot of parents don't even talk to each other. You know, when they do talk about anything, it's usually about the child. They don't have like 5 freaking minutes to just sit and just hold each other. Right? And like I said earlier, I'm not a half-asser. I don't want to give my partner half of me, or not even half of me. For some people, like a fucking quarter. I don't want to give them 25%, because if I'm a partner, I want them to have every aspect of me that comes with being me. That way I won't feel like a shitty person. I want my siblings to have all of me as a big sister, as a mentor, as a guide and a teacher for them, as a backbone. I want to be able to catch them when they fall. I want to be able to catch their kids when they fall. I love being an aunt. And it's not just the fact that, you know, I can give my nieces and nephews back, but I'm able to be productive and change a child's life without having to parent them. Because that's something I said I would never do, because it just doesn't make me happy. And I don't have to parent my nieces and nephews. I just have to be there for them. And I love that. I love that freedom. They can call me and I can come whenever, wherever, at any time, because I'm not held up with my own children. And I don't want to be a half-ass auntie that just shows up here and there. Sorry, Auntie Ree can't come. She got her own kids. Or for my partner, I made plans for us, but I know you can't make it because we have things going on with the children. I don't like the sound of that. That sounds very depressing to me. Oh, sorry, Mom, I can't come through. Little Billy Bob just threw up all over my lap. Right? Oh, I can't come. Sally Mae broke her leg. That just, it doesn't sound appealing to me. I don't like that everything's limited. I don't like limitations. I don't want to get passionate about something again and then it's taken from me. And when people say they're sacrificing a lot, that's a load of bullshit. They're not sacrificing a lot. They're sacrificing everything. You name it. It's either going to be taken away from you completely or limited. There is no in between. That's not me trying to be this opinionated bitch. It's just facts. That's kind of, you know, that's the whole gist. That's what comes with being a parent. You sacrifice things that you eventually get back, but it's not going to be the same, or you lose them completely, right? Because you're pouring everything. When I say everything, you're pouring everything. Every ounce of your being, every fiber, every thought, every drive to survive, right? Every fight or flight within your body and your brain. Every little millisecond of time. All the way down to the bone. You're putting all of that into this human being that you decided to bring here. It's a setback. It's not necessarily a burden. Now, if you're child-free, it's a burden because you already know for a fact that that won't be a suitable lifestyle for you. But now you're stuck in this little situation that's irreversible, irrevocable, and never changing. It only goes down from there. That's why it's so important to know if it's for you or not. Having kids shouldn't just be done just because, or doing it because everyone else is doing it. And that kind of brings me over to the second part of this video with the people getting upset about the trend. And I need a lot of people to understand this is just a TikTok trend, but in real life, it's not. It's a lifestyle. A lot of people decided not to. And then you have people that are treating it like it's impossible to not get pregnant. It's just as easy not to be pregnant and not to have babies than it is to have babies. They're both incredibly easy, right? And I don't have to give you the nicks and the picks on that. You guys know exactly. You're all adults watching this. And I've had people in the comments say, well, you're only child free because you keep getting abortions. A lot of us have never gotten pregnant in the first place to even have an abortion. See, a lot of you will have abortions, right? And I'm not judging you for that because it's your body. A lot of you will have abortions and still turn around and get pregnant and pregnant and pregnant and pregnant and pregnant and pregnant. And you have all those babies after baby after baby after baby after baby, right? But for the people that aren't getting pregnant at all, because they're being extremely careful, because when you're child free or when you're really not sure about having kids, you go to the extreme to make sure children don't show up in your life out of nowhere. So this whole oopsie baby, accident baby is a load of bullshit. I understand that birth control slips up. I understand that accidents happen because the guy that you're doing it with doesn't have any wee control, or whatever you want to call it, right? Or you just have a poor choice in the men that you sleep with, and vice versa, right? Or maybe you both weren't being careful. Maybe you thought that, you know, it won't happen, it won't slip up, right? We'll be fine. And if an accident happens, we'll just wing it out. But that doesn't mean you should be bitter towards people that are going to the extreme to not have that lifestyle. A lot of you sound unhappy. What I don't understand is when I was unhappy at a point in my life, I isolated myself from everyone. This isn't me saying that I'm better than everyone, because I'm not. I have a long way of improvement to go, just like everyone else. I'm constantly beating myself up every time I open my damn eyes in the morning. I'm always wondering, what can I do better this day, right? But I have never, no one can ever say that even when I was miserable and unhappy because a lot of bad things were happening in my life, and I was at my lowest, and I didn't want to wake up the next day. I dreaded waking up in the morning. I didn't go out and give the next person a hard time. I might have walked around with an attitude. I might have shut myself away. I might have pushed people away from me, but I didn't intentionally go out and hurt people the way these parents are talking to these child-free people. If I found out that my mom was talking to, you know, non-parents the way that I see these people talking to the child-free, I'd have to disown. You guys are disgusting. It's okay that you're unhappy. That can be worked on, right? I took it upon myself, and I'm holding myself accountable as an adult. I know that I was shitty towards myself. I know that I let myself go. I know that I isolated myself and I pushed my loved ones away because I was upset, because I was hurting deep inside. But I didn't intentionally get on the damn internet and bully the shit out of people and make them feel bad because they were happy. You see these child-free people happy about their choice. You're unhappy with yours and you're projecting? When I was suffering from depression, I didn't see happy people, you know, walk up to them in public or say on the internet, shut your happy ass up. You know how freaking stupid that would have made me look? Right? Or if I saw someone living their life, the last thing I thought was, that's not fucking fair. How come they get to be happy? I didn't think that. I always thought, what can I do to be that happy? What am I doing wrong? Right? And I would even ask them for pointers. I'm suffering from this issue, or I just lost this, or I just lost that. What can I do to cope? See, y'all are not mature up here yet. And then on the other end, there are parents, you know, clapping their hands and sending hugs, virtual hugs and kisses to the child free, and saying that I wish I thought about it. I wish I considered the letter, right? And I'm proud of you for knowing that, because a lot of times parents have the kids and then they find out that it's not what they thought. But these parents are saying, I fall under that category But I'm glad you guys didn't fall for, you know, the trap that society and the government has set up for us. I fell for the trap. You did it, and I'm proud of you for that. And there was one parent that said something very interesting. She said, if I had known the state of the world, and if I had really paid attention to what was going on around me and not living in La La Land, I probably wouldn't have bought my kids here. And someone underneath that comment said, okay, wait, so even when you finally realized what's going on around you, when you finally looked around and saw the world for what it is, why'd you still have kids anyway? And you know what the mom said? She said, I didn't care. I thought that I was on top of the world for pushing a baby out. I thought that I was better than everyone. I thought that I could rule the world with this baby. I thought that I could protect my child and that nothing would happen to them. They wouldn't have the human experience that I have. I thought that I was invincible. I thought that my life was invincible. And the person under that comment also said, well, was it like ego driven? And she said, absolutely. I memorized this entire comment chain because it was just very interesting. She said she was so delusional about reality because she wanted a baby just that bad. She saw that she was in an environment where sex offenders were really, really hot, like in that area. She saw that there was a chance of her child being bullied at school. She just wasn't in a good place in life, but she thought she could just have the baby anyway and things would turn out great. Her child just turned 13 the other day, and she has more bad experiences than the mother. And she says she regrets it all. She wishes that she could turn back time and truly get herself and her life together so her child could have had a better life. And she's only 13, but she's had so much bad happen to her because her mom was being delusional. And that's not me talking about this woman. I'm just telling you what I saw in the comments. She put it all out there, her face and all. And she said, I'm not ashamed. And I want to keep telling people and sharing with people, you know, my experience, because I don't want them to be stupid like I was. Because she was 16 when she had this baby. Right? She was still a child. She didn't even go to college. She didn't go to the college she wanted to. Her life completely stopped. But she had it in her head that things would just become better once she has a baby. She was already battling other health issues, mental health issues, and financial issues. She just didn't have anything ready. She was not prepared in any way for her child. And she ended up giving her child a worse life than she had. And the child's only 13. That's why I will never bat my eye at a parent that's expressing hate towards me, because I know that I'm doing it for the sake of me and my non-existent child. It's not personal, and a lot of people are taking it personal. I think that a lot of people are just not aware, and they don't love themselves, and they don't love their children. And that's okay. That's an issue that they need to fix. I just wish they didn't leave it to strangers on the internet to fix it. It's not our job. But that's all for today. I really hope this video gets through. I hope that you guys are able to see it, because like I said, I've been trying to post and post and post and post, but YouTube is really irking me. I just now built enough courage to be able to even post this video. So I will see you guys next time. And as I always say, drink something, eat something, take your meds, get some rest, and I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for listening to my rant. Peace.